looking at the macro level, I'm predicting that the pace of change is going to continue to move at a pace that makes many people feel very uncomfortable. And we know that change is hard, change is painful, change can be scary. With that in mind, why might we look to ancient philosophy as a practical path forward to navigate the complexities of change with courage and even with confidence?
Yeah, it's incredible. Philosophy. I mean, first of all, philosophy has a bad reputation because when we think about philosophy, we're thinking about these weird professors that they say things we don't understand. They're using terminology, convoluted language. But actually, we are all philosophers as long as we are thinking how to solve a problem. And this is what ancient philosophers said that philosophy is about. Basically, whenever you use um, reason instead of belief, then you are a philosopher, right?
I really like
So,
the way that you reframe that because, I can hear in my mind people might be listening and like, I don't know if I want to commit to this conversation. It's philosophy. I have had a bad experience with the professor in my university days. I really liked how you reframe that. This is thinking about your thinking, or another terminology, metacognition, thinking through your thinking. So I just wanted to address that. That's a great reframing for those watching or listening right now. Stay with us because there's a lot of practical application that goes beyond the theories and the bad experiences that you had in the past here.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And talking about change, I mean, the biggest minds in the history have reflected on what change means and how to deal with change and the stress. I mean, the fantastic thing about philosophy is that people thousands of years ago, they were thinking about the same fundamental things as us.
Mm.
And when you see what they are writing, you see, hey, I mean, modern businesses is exactly the same environment that they are describing, the change and the stress and how we should deal with this, how what we can control, what we cannot control. Um, yeah, how to deal with the unknown. That's what I love in ancient wisdom.
It's interesting you mentioned the unknown because in my first book, Banking on Digital Growth, I was picking up the patterns of people, particularly financial brand leaders and their marketing teams, sales teams, executive teams. There were often four fears that would hold them back from making a commitment to move forward along their digital growth journey. You mentioned the unknown. It was the fear of the unknown. It was fear of change. It was fear of failure. And there was even, in some cases, it was fear of success. And so oftentimes we're held back by these self-limiting beliefs, these doubts, these experiences in the past that, to your point, they're belief systems and structures that more likely than not might not even be quote unquote real. And we can philosophize and think about what is reality. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole just yet because we might lose people at that point. But what what turns you on to this type of thinking about your own thinking here from an experience standpoint?
Yeah, when I was trying to learn more about marketing, I did what everyone does when they need to solve this problem. I read books, I went to workshops, I was discussing things with more senior colleagues. And then I realized that, there are these business books. Obviously, you're writing business books as well. Um, but your philosophy is very different. I have seen you talking about this. Exactly what I would mention is that um, sometimes we want to present something as new, as the new thing. We were talking about collaboration
Yeah.
before, that it's going to be the new thing in next year. I'm sorry, it's not new. It's something that we know about these things thousands of years ago. So when I was reading marketing books, I realized that these are well-known things, maybe packaged in a different way. Maybe, the tactics are slightly different, but the core things are basically ancient. To give you an example, because sometimes we are talking about theoretically, um, Okay, I mean, we're talking about how to convince our leads, our prospects, or even our customers to upsell or all these problems that sales and marketing teams have today. And everyone is talking about branding. Everyone is talking about demands and things that sound you know new, fancy, new things, and so on. But Aristotle, 2,500 years ago, said that when you want to convince someone, there are three things that you need to do, and you need to do them in order. And these are ethos, pathos, logos. Ethos is your point of view, is your reputation, how you can convince someone before even you open your mouth, before even they come to your website, the reputation that you have built. And we're talking about now branding and how to build a reputation on a brand or people that represent the brand. And yeah, I'm sorry, this is not something new. This is something that people knew thousands of years ago, and they knew that it is even more important than, first there is ethos, number two is pathos, which is the what we feel, and number three is logos, which is the logical arguments. And we start, I mean, many marketers, we stress about, the copy should be good, the argument should be good, the pain point, we should, make it best, when actually we should be thinking how we build our reputation, um, what people have in their minds when they think about us, and then build our logical arguments.